Okay, guys, it's Izzy Gamble here, and we are in the beginning of the regional semifinals. We're about to kick some butt. Let's go.
That is Izzy Gamble with the Eau Gallie Commodores, and the girls are pumped up and ready to go. Good evening, everybody. I'm Alan Slaughterzinski for the Brevard Sports Network, and very excited to be with you tonight from Lake Region High School here in Eagle Lake, Florida. Not far from Bartow, about 20, 25 minutes south of Bartow. We've been over there a couple of times, and tonight we got a good one. We think it's the 4A regional semifinals between Lake Region and Eau Gallie. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to step aside. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by D1 Action Photo. We're going to step aside, get the scoreboard up, let things get going. I'm going to get the lineups, and we'll be right back with the first pitch in just a moment. All right, welcome back here. We're getting set for the national anthem. Not a bad angle, I don't think. Similar to the one we get at Melbourne and the one you'll get if Fiera doesn't beat Bartow tonight. Friday night at Bartow, one you probably got now at Melbourne. All right, it's time to play ball as we get ready to go. The Eau Gallie Commodores reaching the regional semifinals for the first time since 2018. And I do believe that if they win here tonight, it would be their first victory in this round since 2012, I think it was. So excited to be over here in Eagle Lake, Florida, bringing you this great action here tonight. So we'll get you the particulars of who's in the circle, who's doing what. I didn't have an opportunity to get the lineup in. Pitching tonight is going to be number 12 for Lake Region, Kaylin Reeder. And we'll tell you all about Reeder here. Reeder this season, a freshman, by the way, 6-0 with a 2.53 ERA in 47 innings pitched, 48 hits, 30 runs, 17 of them earned, 16 walks, and 41 strikeouts. And she's not the ace of the staff, according to the Max Prep statistics. Anyway, that would be Meadows, who has pitched 104 and a third innings this year. The lineup for Eau Gallie leading off is going to be Shyla Eppert. Batting second is going to be Sarah Walsh. Batting third going to be Sarah Langley. Sis Cabral is batting fourth. Abby Latulip fifth. Ainsley Odell sixth. Heather Rue in the circle. Seventh, Hannah Leach. Eighth, Gabby Barrera ninth as Eppert steps in. And the first pitch offering is a bunt down to third baseman, and that's an easy 5-3. And that's a heck of a play there by Bailey Ellis for the first out here. One pitch, one out. As Eppert goes 5-3. And that'll bring up Sarah Walsh. Walsh having a really good year, 482. That leads the Commodores, 27 hits. So does that. And she'll look at ball one. Gabe Carride at first, third, Paul Morris at first. The 1-0 is a called strike, 1-1. The on-deck hitter, Sarah Langley, she's got 7 home runs this season. And there's a chopper down the line. Foul. When there's no sound, it's because I'm intentionally muting it. Pitch. Low. That'll be ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes now. The girls are loose. They had a great bus ride over. I was talking to a lot of them before the game. Popcorn chicken. That one slapped foul as Walsh will stay alive here. We told you Bailey Ellis is at third. It's short for Lake Region is number 2, McKenna Meadows. Pitch, and there's another chopper foul. First baseman is number 13, Sophia Rivera. And over at second base is number 1, Savannah Ford. The center fielder is number 4, Margaret Jenkins. And Cameron Fail is in left. We'll get you to the right fielder after this pitch. And that is 3 balls and 2 strikes and a great eye by Walsh. The wind blowing straight out of here. And it ain't going to take much to get one over the fence here. Pitch, slapper, And no, it hit the ground. It's a foul ball. Ellis just missed scooping that up. And the count will stay full at 3-2. Heck of a battle here going on between Walsh and Reeder. The semifinals of 4A Region 2. The 3-2 is slapped and still foul. So the count will stay at 3-2. One out here, top of the first. No score, just underway. Want to thank D1 Action Photo and Paul Gamble for sponsoring tonight's broadcast. The 3-2, and that time Ellis will scoop it. Line drive out for out number 2, and that's just a great battle between Walsh and Reeder, and Reeder will win the first of that battle as Sarah Langley steps in with 2 outs, and the student section is in full force here at Lake Region. Langley leads the team with 7 home runs, and the first pitch offering from the freshman is high heat. Langley swings through, strike 1. Reeder takes a look at the wristband. I know I was Tim Stockton. That's high for a ball. 1-1, Tim Stockton. I know he does the Firecrackers. Owner of Uberzadi as girls that plays on both of these teams for the Firecrackers. So if he's watching, I'm going to say hello to Tim. Pitch is a changeup and low, and it's 2-1. 2 balls and a strike to Langley. Emma Brawl on deck. The pitch, and there's a shot and into the glove of the shortstop for the third and final out. 3 up, 3 down. Eau Gallie hit the ball, and we'll head to the bottom of the first inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. Commodore set to take the field. All right, welcome back here. Alan Slaughterzinski with you from John Bridges Softball Complex at Lake Region High School, home of the Thunder softball program. And Eau Gallie, let's take you around the outfield and infield for them. In left, it'll be Shyla Eppert. In center, Sarah Walsh. Over in right field, it is Ainsley Odell. At third base is Abby Latulip. At shortstop, filling in for the injured Hannah Leach. I want to say hello and get well soon, no doubt, to Deborah Turco. She split her fingers on in that game against Rockledge. At second base tonight is Kendra Walden. Over at first base is Gabby Barrera. Sarah Langley behind the plate, and Heather Rue in the circle. The leadoff hitter is Margaret Jenkins, and the first pitch offering from Rue is a ball. The 1-0. And that'll be a strike from Heather. 1-1. One ball, one strike, bottom of the first here. The pitch upstairs, 2-1. The 2-1 from Rue on its way. Upstairs again, 3-1. Batting second is going to be Cameron Fail, and the third hitter, McKenna Meadows. 3 balls and 1 strike to the, and this one is fouled off the netting behind, and the count is now full. Lake Region, the 2009 7A state champs. The 2005A state champs and the 1998 4A state champs. The 3-2 is popped up, and that's not anything I can show you. It's out of play and a strike. So the count will stay 3-2. Keep me updated on the Melbourne game. So again, a similar at-bat to the one Walsh had leading off, and this one lifted in the center, and nobody called there. And that's going to be a leadoff base hit, and you got to communicate, and they didn't, and that's a hit. And the leadoff single by Margaret Jenkins brings up Cameron Fail. Top 4 hitters in this lineup, pretty good. Fail this season, batting .355, 27 hits, 12 RBIs. Rue's first pitch offering, she shows bunt. It's upstairs, ball 1. The number 3 hitter is McKenna Meadows. And there's a nice bunt. The only play is first. And what a job down at first base. Done that time by LaTulip to haul that in, coming over from second base. So that's going to be a 1 or a 3-4 put out. But Fail does her job and advances Jenkins down to second. And the Herd, or the Thunder, I keep wanting to call them the Thundering Herd. The Thunder with a runner in scoring position, and McKenna Meadows coming to the plate. Meadows, the leading hitter, .451, 37 hits for the team this year as she steps in. And the first pitch offering, here comes the steal of third, and she's going to get in there. And now a runner at third. I was just getting ready to tell you they don't steal a lot of bases, but there you go. 58 on the year, the 58th stolen base. I guess they don't steal a lot of bases compared to, say, a team like Rockledge, who had 110. Eau Gallie comes in with 51. So McKenna Meadows, Margaret Jenkins at third, Meadows at the plate. Rue, 2-0, way upstairs. And it's 3-0 now. I tell you what, that's a rowdy student section over there. The 3-0 on its way. Strike 1, or no, he says. That one will miss. So that's a 4-pitch walk to bring up the cleanup hitter, Kristen Aldridge. Aldridge, a .359 hitter. They've hit 7 home runs this year. Aldridge has 5 of them. So she's got some power. And again, the wind is blowing out of here tonight. So Rue needs to be careful. First and third, 1 out, no score here as Aldridge steps in. On deck, the number 5 hitter is Sophia Rivera. There's a strike. 0-1. Nothing and one. One and one. I think you should broadcast. Good. How are you? The 1-1 on its way. Upstairs, 2-1. Two balls and a strike to Aldridge. Fouled back and out of play. Two and two now. Boy, this should be huge if the Commodores can turn a double play and get out of this. And the changeup. Now they're struggling with the changeup in the last game, and so far, no go here in the first inning at least. I don't think I've ever seen a more rambunctious student section at a softball game. And there's a ground ball down the third base line that tucks behind the bag. Foul, and the count will stay full at 3-2. You can see them on your screen. You can tell that school is about to come to an end. Everyone, I'm sure, is ready for it, except for the parents that have to stay home, of course. 3-2. Rue. And that's fouled back to the screen. And the count will stay full. I got him one. That smile. 3-2. Little guy. And I mean little, probably not even a little over one, chasing the foul balls. Big smile on his face. And this is popped up and huge. Eau Gallie's got a call. Rue makes the call and makes the catch. Or as I like to say, the call in the hall. And that is a big, big out here. And this will bring up the number 5 hitter, Sofia Rivera, now with 2 outs and runners at the corner. Wow. If you're an Eau Gallie fan, you cross your fingers here. First pitch is a strike. Rivera, a 213 hitter. She is an RBI getter, though. She's got 5 doubles and 19 RBIs this year for head coach John Bridges. The 0-1. Oh, swung on and missed. And Rue is 1 strike away from getting out of a first inning jam. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. Here's the pitch. Upstairs, ball 1. Ooh. Ooh. Ball 2 right down the middle. And now it's Deuces Wild at 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Here's the pitch. And there's a chopper. And over to first. And the Seminole State commit fields the last out. And the Commodores get out of an early jam. The Thunder strand 2. We head to the top of the second. No score. Heather Rue pitches out of an early jam, and the Commodores must now take advantage of this opportunity and gain a little momentum from this. See if they can't put some runs on the board against the freshman in the circle. They went 1-2-3 in the first inning. Made some contact, though. It'll be Sis Cabral, Abby LaTulip, and Ainsley Odell to bat for Eau Gallie here. This was about the best angle we could muster here tonight, so thanks for bearing with me on it. Excuse me. And the first pitch is low and outside for ball one to Cabral. She comes in batting .372 this year, 16 hits and 21 RBIs. Two and 0. Reader checking her wristband. The old getting the calls from the assistant coach over there. Looks like from Savannah Barnett. The 2-0 on its way to Cabral is at the knees, but low, and Cabral has worked an early 3-0 count here. Change up, and I like it. I mean, if she got one she liked, and I'm sure that's what Coach Cartwright was telling her. Take a cut at it. She does. And the count is now 3 balls and a strike. Reader to Cabral. And there's a grounder foul. Might have been ball 4. Look low. 3-2 now. Once again, we want to thank D1 Action Photo. Check them out online at d1actionphoto.com. Paul Gamble and his great action shots. Of course, Coach Gabe Cartwright for hoping to facilitate all this. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Another leadoff hitter. Another full count. All I can tell you is it missed because the home plate umpire said it missed. Ball 4. And Eau Gallie has the leadoff hitter aboard, and Abby LaTulip steps in. And Abby this year, for another 400 hitter for Coach Cartwright's Lady Commodores. 21 hits, 12 runs, and 10 RBIs this year. First pitch offering is a check swing foul back into the glove, strike 1. Or I guess not. They said she held up. Ball 1. So that's 5 balls out of the last 6 pitches. There's a strike for That's a good take, though. I think you got to take that. And that is fouled back and off the screen, and the count is now a ball and 2 strikes. I'm set up right next to the dugout. You can kind of see the corner on the right-hand side there. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pitch. And there's a ground ball right back to the pitcher. To second for 1, over to first. No, not in time. And no, they say the runner at second is safe. I'm not sure what happened. I don't know if she didn't step on the bag or what happened, but the umpire called her safe. Did she not touch the bag? And I guarantee you, Johnny Bridges is going to want an explanation on this, and here he comes. Now it's first and third, a huge break for Eau Gallie. That's incredible. She jumped right over the bag, says Coach Gabe Cartwright. Never touched it. She never touched the bag, says Coach Cartwright, and the home plate umpire and the other two umpires are going to confer here, and we'll see if they keep the call the same. This is not major leagues where you got to be in close proximity. You got to touch the bag, and I'll be honest, I don't know if she did or she didn't. He certainly had a better view at it than I did. And they're not going to overturn this. And Eau Gallie's going to have runners at the corner with nobody out here and a golden opportunity to plate the first run of the game. I'm not exactly sure how to score that. Cabral's at third, the Tulips at first, and Ainsley Odell is your hitter. Guess that's an infield single with an error at second. There's a strike. Nobody out. The Commodores knocking on the door here. The 0-1 is off the screen, and Ainsley a tad bit late there. Nothing N2, and really all she needs to do is to get this ball to the right side of the infield or a pop fly, and Cabral's going to score. She's got speed. Nothing N2. Top two. Commodores with a chance. Swing and a miss and a big strikeout. And down to second base goes the Tulip. And now the Commodores with second and third with one out. And Heather Rue steps in. And Heather's got a great opportunity to help her cause. The Seminole State commit batting .333. A double-digit 10th RBI would be nice at this moment. Heather's thinking, and she swings and misses at straight smoke from Kaylin Reeder, the freshman, and it's 0-1. Outside, 1-1. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Tulip at second. Cabral at third. Rue at the plate. And this one is lifted in the right. Will it stay fair? No, it goes foul. And more importantly, for Reeder, that's a strike. So the count is a ball and 2 strikes here for Reeder and the Thunder. Alan Slaughterzinski with you from John Bridges Softball Complex at Lake Region High School. The 1-2 is hit to the right side, and it's going to get through. And the Tulip will stop at third, but the Eau Gallie Commodores plate an early run and lead it 1-0. On a nice opposite field base hit by pitcher Heather Rue. Great piece of hitting by Heather. And that is her 10th RBI of the year. And now Hannah Leach comes in, and she's playing because of the injury to Deborah Turco. Turco with a freak of an injury in the Rockledge game. Fielded a ball, hit her in the hand, and split her hand between 2 of her fingers. And it required, I think, 6 stitches. And so just a crazy injury. And so Deborah's out until the state semifinals. And you got to believe, if you're a Commodore fan, that she's going to come back and play in that game. So, but get well, Deborah. 0-1 to Her replacement at shortstop, Hannah Leach. 1 out still. And that'll be strike 2 right down I-4, 0-2. Top of the second, Eau Gallie on top, 1-0. Leach swings and misses. Strike 3, and down to second base goes Rouge, pinch runner, which is, who is that? I have to take a look, but Gabby Barrera will now step in. Pinch runner is Laney White. So 2 outs and still runners at second and third. Reeder to White, or I'm sorry, Reeder to Barrera, and she swings and misses, 0-1. The 0-1. 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 outs. That's a strike. 1-2. Coach Carrod telling her, let's go, let's go. Got to swing the bat, make contact. 1-2. Pitch is on its way. And there's a ground ball, and it gets through. And around third, and on her way to score is Laney White. And the Commodores take a 3-0 lead on a big 2-strike base hit by Gabby Barrera, who ends up at second on the throw. Eau Gallie 3-0. Great piece of hitting to go the other way. And still 2 outs here with a runner in scoring position still. And back to the top of the order with Shyla Eppert. Big hit right there. They don't come any bigger than that. Fresh count as Eppert steps in. She grounded out to the third baseman her first time up. First pitch offering is a strike 1. Boy, that is what you call production from the middle bottom of the order. Great job by the Commodores. And Charlotte tried to slap that one down the third baseline. And it's now 0-2. Say hello to Mr. Alec Turco. 0-2. To Eppert. And that'll miss. Both Commodore RBI producing hits they weren't slap hits. They were just solid hits and good hitting the other way. Going with the pitch. There's that Mid-Atlantic accent. Going with the pitch instead of trying to pull it. The 1-2 is right back to the pitcher, and that'll be the third and final out. But the Eau Gallie Commodores strike 3 times in the top of the second. Heather Rue with an RBI single, and Gabby Barrera, a 2-strike hit the other way to drive in 2 runs. We head to the bottom of the second. Eau Gallie on top, 3-0. Rue finishing up her warm-up tosses. They don't give them much time. And softball is kind of like major leagues. You know, you're on a clock, man. You got to get going between innings. I'm okay with that, by the way. So it's going to be Kaylin Reeder, Bailey Ellis, and Savannah Ford for Lake Region. Reeder, the pitcher, steps in. Rue's changeup just not working tonight. As the student section chants, leave it up there, meaning the pitch. 1-0 to Reeder, pitcher to pitcher. Popped up and out of play, 1-0. The 1-1 is lifted. Leach. Oh, what a catch! But, oh, he says no. She doesn't make the catch. She caught that. She absolutely caught that ball. That ball never hit the ground. I don't know. Listen. She caught that ball. Absolutely caught that ball. I can see it from here. That ball never hit the ground. The ball rolled in her glove. It did not hit the ground. The glove was underneath of the ball. And so a break for, and that, so a great try by Leach nonetheless. And it'll be a base hit for Reeder as Bailey Ellis steps in. You just have to shake that off. Can't do any more than that. Upstairs. Ellis stepping in with a runner on first. Second straight inning, they've gotten the leadoff runner on. She bunts, that's a good one. Rue's got to hurry to first. Throws, got her. Nice play by Heather Rue. Did they say she was safe? What? Okay, they did call her out. Okay. Wow. Whew. That scared me there for a minute. I'm like, are you kidding me? Great play by Heather Rue to get the out. Huh. Well, I definitely don't like the trend that's going here for either side, really, because you never want to see games decided like this. You just don't. Eau Gallie caught a break with the play at second. They took advantage of it. Let's see if Lake Region can do the same. That ball is popped up, and it is playable. Oh, Barrera had it and just dropped it, popped it out of her glove. And she would love to have that one back. That is un-Barrera-like. No, I'm sorry. That's Shyla Eppert. My apologies, Shyla Eppert. But no, I'm sorry. I had it right. Barrera. I'm sorry. And it's 1-2. I am so sorry. My apologies to Shyla. It's Gabby Barrera. I had it right. Forgive me. I'm sitting between a fence, jumping up and down. Gets a little confusing sometimes. 2-2 now. Runner at second, and that's a tough play. That's foul ball though. It's going to drop. That's a break for the Commodores because that would not have been caught. It would have just dropped, and Rue still has the hitter at 2-2. The hitter, by the way, is Savannah Ford. Upstairs, ball 3. First base is open. The only thing I don't like about this is you got 9-1 coming up with 1 out, but first base is open, so it's not going to kill you if she gets on without advancing the runner. And Barrett goes off the bag. Oh, what a play! Great recovery. What a recovery by Abby LaTulip to catch that ball off the bag and step on it for an out. Crazy start to this one. 2 outs. That was just nuts. That ball hit off the bag and it ricocheted up in the air, and the tulip was there. Unbelievable. And now Elisa Charles steps in. For unassisted ground. Well, I guess there is an assist. The first base bag fouled back to the screen. I do think Barrera touched it, and if she did, she officially gets an assist. I'll have to go back and look, but I mean, you just. There's a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And I got to get with it. I did it again. And that's 3-2 for the second consecutive inning. The Thunder have a runner at third base. Swing and a miss. And Heather Rue again strikes out the final batter and strands a runner in scoring position. And the Commodores escape without giving up a run. They lead it 3-0. Great defensive play by Kendra Walden. And to the top of the third we go. All right, so I got it all situated now, I'm pretty sure. It's Kendra Walden that made that heads up play over there. So my apologies. Geez, Alan, could you screw up the right side of the infield even more? Here we go. And Eau Gallie, who did take advantage of their opportunities last inning on the call at second to score some runs, will have Sarah Walsh, Sarah Langley, and Sis Cabral up here in the top of the third. Popped out to the third, lined out to the third baseman. Last time there's a slapper to the shortstop, and she's not going to be able to play it. And that's going to be an infield hit for Sarah Walsh. So the Commodores get on with the leadoff hitter here in the top of the third, and Sarah Langley steps in. Langley, her last time up, popped out to the shortstop. That wind is, she's a left-handed hitter headed to Barry University. And, yeah, the wind is blowing straight out to right field. That porch out there in right field is tailor-made for the Langley swing. In the dirt, 1-1. And you can kind of hear the girls talking about it a little bit before the game. They know. If we get a bunt here, runner at first, nobody out. And there's a shot down to second. She'll step on, and she'll slide into second. That's as good as a bunt to sacrifice the runner over. Be a fielder's choice there. No other play for the first baseman to make but to step on the bag. And down to second base goes Walsh. And Langley will go G01. As Sis Cabral will step in, and she walked her last time up and scored. So again, my apologies. Kendra Walden made that play at second base, and I knew it as soon as I said it. I'll go back and fix it tonight on the reels. There's a ground ball down to third, and the hop. That was just a nasty, nasty hop. That's no air. That ball took an ugly hop at Bailey Ellis, and that's going to be an infield hit. And good job by Walsh to hang at second, but now it's first and second. And, I mean, that's as bad of a hop as you'll see in the infield. And a good job by Ellis to get her head out of the way as Abby LaTulip steps in. Pitch to her is a ball. Coach calls out a color and a number. Ground ball again to shortstop. Second for one, over to first. Won't get the double. And down to third base. Now, here goes Eau Gallie again with 2 outs and runners at the corners here. Let's see if Coach, or 1 out. 2 outs, yeah, 2 outs. Let's see if Coach Carride sends Abby down to second. And let's see if they bite on the throw. And Walsh can do anything as Ainsley Odell steps in, and Ainsley struck out her last time up and looks at strike one here. 0-1. Top of the third, Eau Gallie on top, 3-0. Playing some clutch defense and getting some timely hits. And there's one into the right field. It's going to drop. That'll score another run. And Ainsley Odell with a big 2-out clutch hit. And the Commodores now lead it 4-0. Sarah Walsh comes around to score, and that'll bring up Heather Rue. And Heather with an RBI single her last time up. I'll adjust the score here between innings, but it is 4-0. And Rue again drops one in, and around second and on her way to score is La Tulip, and it's 5-0 Commodores. How about it? And Heather Rue again with a big clutch hit. And all the way to third goes Ainsley Odell. And here comes head coach John Bridges out to have a conversation. And we may just see the ace of the staff come in. And we're going to. We saw this last night with Vieira Baseball over at George Jenkins, as George Jenkins did not throw their ace to start the game. And it cost them. Vieira took a 2-0 lead in that one, and you hand a Florida State commit like Dylan Jordan a 2-run lead in the first inning, and there is generally no looking back, and that's exactly what happened. And here tonight, they did not start the ace of the staff. They just, for whatever reason, they just didn't do it. And I can't imagine you would. And maybe again, I'm sure there's a reason. I mean, you're never going to look past the 3 seed. It's softball, so you're not working on pitch counts. Maybe there's an injury. I don't know. And, I can't be sure. But the ace of the staff is in now. And it is number 2, McKenna Meadows. And this year, Meadows with 104 and a third innings pitched. 70 hits, 20 runs, 15 of them earned. She's walked 15, struck out 133. Opponents are batting just 179 against her. So obviously it's not an injury situation. So I don't know why she didn't get the call. I don't. But I know Eau Gallie's thrilled. And so are we back in Brevard County, right? If you're watching from Lake Region here in the Eagle Lake area, anything can happen in softball, high school softball. This is far from over. 5-0 though. 3 in the second and 2 in the third, and the Commodores still threatening with runners at the corners and 2 outs here on top. 5-0. And that's how you silence a raucous student section. And there's a ground ball. It's a tough play up the middle. 6-0, Eau Gallie. A seeing eye base hit up the middle. Drives in a run just like a line drive does. And Hannah Leach comes through. Ainsley Odell scores. And it's 6-0. And this will bring up Gabby Barrera. Still 2 outs, runners at first and second. Barrera all over that, but just missed it. Bailey Ellis will move over to short, and the young lady that was in the circle is now at third. Pitch. That one nearly did to us what happened yesterday at George Jenkins on the foul tip. And it's 0-2. Glad you could be with us here tonight. Thank you for joining me. And again, my apologies to Kendra Walden on that play at first. Pitch. And it's low for a ball, 1-2. One ball and 2 strikes. The new pitcher. And the catcher tries to bring it back but won't be able to is junior McKenna Meadows. 6-0. 2 in the second, and 4 here in the third. Pitch. And there's another shot up the middle and around third and on her way to score. And this is going to be another Eau Gallie run. That is a 2-run double. And the Eau Gallie Commodores lead it 8-0. A 2-run double by Gabby Barrera. And it's 8-0 Eau Gallie. How about it? Great piece of hitting. As the girls on the bench give the student section a little bit of their own medicine back to them. As they are telling the student section they can't hear them. Slapper down to third. This should end the inning, and it will. However, the Eau Gallie Commodores send all 9 hitters to the plate. They score 6 runs on 5 hits, and they head to the bottom of the third inning here in the FHSAA 4A2 regional quarterfinals with an 8-0 lead. Back with the bottom of the inning coming up. What an inning for the Eau Gallie Commodores. Now they got to get out here and keep playing their game in the field, and Heather Rue keep dealing, because this team is a good one. And the fastball is fouled off for strike one as Margaret Jenkins steps in. She singled her first time up. Bottom of the third, 8-0, Eau Gallie on top. And there's a shot to lead off the first or the third with a base hit. Well, whoever that is with Brevard Sports Network, can you do me a favor and get rid of these comments for me that are sending people to links? Please. Little help. So 1 on and none out here as members of the student section begin to file out for can't give up on your team like that. As Margaret Jenkins is now 2 for 2 and Camry Fail steps in. She grounded out her last time up. The pitch. I think is a ball. Swing and a miss, and Rue firing BB right there. And I believe the count is 1-1. Eau Gallie on top, 8-0. 6 in the third, 2 in the second. The Commodores, and there's a slapper, the shortstop, Leach. Good throw, won't get her though. And over to third base, They can't start doing that, throwing the ball away. And now it's runners at the corners again, this time with nobody out. So that's going to be an infield hit. As McKenna Meadows steps in, and McKenna's got an opportunity here to help her cause as she is now in the circle tonight. Nobody out. And Lake Region has had the leadoff hitter on in every inning, and they've had a runner at third in every inning. And Eau Gallie's been able to keep them off the scoreboard to this point. Here's the pitch, inside and low, ball one. And that's what I mean. It's not over. Today is Abby's birthday. Okay, good to know that. And that's a ball. That should be 2-0, and it is in the student section. What's left of them begin to amp themselves back up again as you have 2 on and none out here. Rue. That's ball 3 right down the middle. So 3-0. And that's the same pitch that she just threw, and it's now 3-1. You got a truck? 3-1. And there's a shot that's going to get past Leach, and there's the first run of the game. And so it's 8-1 now. And runners at first and second with the number 4 hitter, Kristen Aldridge, stepping in. And you knew it was a matter of time if Lake Region was going to continue to put runners on, they were eventually going to cash in, and there it is. And Eau Gallie's got to be careful here. It's early. It's just the third inning. The 1-0. Strike one, 1-1. 1 ball and 1 strike. The changeup is 2-1. Unfortunately, Heather has not thrown that pitch for a strike tonight. 2-1. Langley gives her the sign. You got to keep throwing it. 2-1. Here's the pitch. Tries it again, and it's 3-1 now. So 3 balls and a strike here. Bottom of the third, 8-1. Eau Gallie on top. Popped up and out of play, so that's going to be a full count. So now 3-2. Commodores got to get that first out. The first out here is a big one. You like that, did you, Michael? 3-2. And there's a pop-up and a nice job. I'm not sure. Oh, they did. Oh, she dropped the ball. They might have had her, but okay, so that's 1 out here. But popped out of her glove there. So that's a big out. Not sure why she would check swing on that. But this will bring up Sophia Rivera. Rivera grounded out to the pitcher the last time up. So 1 out and 2 on for, and this is popped up. I don't know if it's playable. I don't think it is. No, it gets foul. And it's 1-1. Eau Gallie looking to do something they haven't done since 2012. And this is popped up, and that's going to come off the net and drop right in front of the camera in the living room. And now Rue has Rivera down 1-2 here. So big pitch coming. Happy birthday to Abby the Tulip. And yes, indeed, I'm going to make sure I say happy birthday to her. Ooh. 2-2. Don't know. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Rivera. Rue peeks in, looks, Rhines fires, and this is lifted in the right, but it is playable. And Odell with a basket catch for the second out. Can't turn the camera. I can't jump up. A lot of times I can, and I apologize for that, but Caleb and Daryl are in Melbourne, so it's just me here, and so it's hard for me to just jump up a lot of times on big hits. When O'Galley's up, I'm trying to get up and maneuver the camera a little bit, and I'll do that here. Now, that's 2 big outs and still 2 runners on, and the Commodores can get out of this with just a run as Kalen Reeder steps in, the starting pitcher. That's a huge, huge win. And the way they have been hitting the softball, not just here tonight, but in these playoffs, O'Galley struggled mightily coming down the stretch, swinging the bats. And there's a show! My goodness! Dun-dun-dun! Dun-dun-dun! How about the play over there by Gabby Barrera, saving 2 runs? We head to the top of the 4th. 8-1 Eau Gallie. I'm creating a sinkhole with this chair over here. So by the time I leave here, I hope Eagle Lake stays on the map. All right, we head to the top of the 4th inning. We were talking about Eau Gallie and the way they've been hitting the ball. They were 2-2 coming down the stretch, and in those 2 losses, they were shut out in those games. They didn't play a game for 13 days coming from the final regular season game, a 7-0 loss to Rockledge, to the district tournament. So over those 13 days, Gabe Cartwright told me he was throwing 600-700 pitches a day at practice, and they were practicing every day. Since their return, they have absolutely knocked the cover off the ball. Scoring 11, they scored 14, they scored 10. And there's a slapper to Bailey Ellis at short over the first. Good play. And that is 1 out. But they have absolutely just rebounded with the bats here in the playoffs from the district tournament to right here. And there's 8 more here tonight. So that was Sarah Walsh. This is Sarah Langley. so far this season. They have scored, counting the 8 here tonight, 164, and they've allowed 79 runs. And I'm sorry, it was 41 runs in 4 playoff games. And 8 more tonight makes 49 in 5. So I'd say the bats for the Commodores are back for sure. Pitch to Langley. And Langley gets into this track wall, and you, Sarah Langley, can touch them all. That is a solo home run. She absolutely destroyed it. And the Eau Gallie Commodores get that run back, and it's 9-1. Her 8th of the year. Wow. What a shot. And the first pitch offering is a strike to Cabral. This is Cabral steps in. What a shot. She absolutely destroyed that pitch. The 1-1 on its way. Swing and a miss. And I knew, that flag's blowing straight out. We talked about it in her last at bat, how it was certainly reachable. And for Langley, her 8th of the year. And Eau Gallie gets that run back. The pitch. 2-2. Swing and a miss, and that'll be a strikeout. 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. And the birthday girl steps in, Abby Latula. And the tulip. That Eau Gallie dugout went absolutely crazy. I'm pretty sure I did too. 0-1. Say hello to Marcella. And that one is fouled off the screen. Marcella coaching up in Buffalo. Her and Max, we miss you guys down here. Good to see you on the broadcast. It's a nice little quaint facility here. I like these closed-in softball fields. Vieira's playing at one tonight over in Bartow, similar to Melbourne. That's low for a ball. Should be 1-2. Or no, he called it a strike. 0-2. Well, yeah, it's 1-2. Strike 3. No doubt. The Commodores strike out. The final 2 batters strike out, but they get the big run back on the big bass by the catcher, the power hitting catcher. Sarah Langley, the Berry commit, just absolutely crushes one. We head to the bottom of the 4th. Eau Gallie 9, Lake Region 1. Oh, Marcella, thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. And welcome back here. And Dave, let me ask you a question, Dave Odell, watching. What vote was that that you're talking about? Because I know a lot of people. We're going to do ours coming up, obviously after the state championships, and I'll tell you here in a minute. Want to know? I don't think people put as much weight in what we say and our votes as like FACA or what Florida Today does, but I think we do a pretty good job looking into the depth and the statistics and looking at the all around process. And a lot of these voting processes, there's and anything that's vote oriented is going to have politics involved. It just is when you're drawing from outside forces. We sit in a room, about six of us, and we argue and we fight, and that's how we get it done. And so, yeah, I'm kind of curious as to what award that was and who did win it. 3-1, and that's a strike. 3-2. The 3-2 on its way, and that one is fouled off the screen. 9-1 Eau Gallie. I had a really good feeling about this driving over here today for Eau Gallie. I was thinking about it, and I just the way they've been hitting the ball and playing defense, and the way Heather's been spinning it in a circle, a real good feeling. And there's a ground ball back to Rue, and she's been fielding the position well, and she does it again there for the first out. And this is going to be Savannah Ford. Savannah. This was the crazy play by Kendra Walden that Kendra Walden made last time with the ball hit off the bag, and this was who was at bat when that occurred. 1-0 pitch on its way is right back to Heather Rue, and this one does not touch the ground, and Rue hauls it in for out number 2. Rue has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 putouts or assists in some form tonight. And this is number 10, Elisa Charles. And Elisa Charles and Ainsley Odell hauls it in, and that's 3 up and 3 down. You want to talk about a shutdown inning after getting a run back? That's it right there. And the Commodores starting to feel it a little bit here as we approach the later stages of this one. 9-1 Eau Gallie. Listen, I'm not trying to jinx anything, but a couple more runs this inning, and Eau Gallie goes out here and slams the door in the bottom of the 5th, and they can get on the bus early if they can get a couple more runs here. They lead this 9-1. Look at Audra. He's a little rough around the edges. 9-1 is the score. 0-1 is the count. This is Ainsley Odell, and Ainsley pops it up, and it's playable and hauled in. Nice play over there by the first baseman, Sophia Rivera. And that's one out. Back off the netting, and then that one actually goes, that didn't protect anybody. Actually hit the spectator in the side. And it's 0-1 to Heather Rue, and Heather has had her a night. 1 run so far allowed in the circle, and she's got 2 hits, a couple of RBIs. Great job by her tonight. 1 ball and 1 strike to Heather. And Heather gets into this one a little bit, and that's nice track out there by the center fielder. That's a tough play, and that is hauled in for the second out. But I tell you what, Heather's swinging a big stick. 2 outs. So 2 outs now, and Hannah Leach steps in. And what a job Hannah has done filling in for the injured Deborah Turco. Swing and a miss. Oh, and 1. Foul back to the screen quickly. 0 and 2. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Top of the 5th. Strike 3. And now we're moving along here. So 3 up, 3 down. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Nothing's changed. 9-1 Commodores. Tell you what, when I pulled into this place tonight, I could not figure out how to get in. Pulled down some country road that, let's just say, yeah, glad I found the right way out. Nine to 1, Eau Gallie on top. And Siri took me there, by the way. Just saying. Oh, no, Siri just popped up on my iPad. Just get me home, Siri, after this. We're coming back, beautiful. We're coming back on Friday if Vieira doesn't win tonight. Anybody got an update on the Vieira game? Let me know. And Rue. Facing Margaret Jenkins back to the top of the lineup, and it's 2-0 to Jenkins. Jenkins. And that student section is really cleared out now. I don't think I see any of them. Jenkins 2 for 2 tonight, and she has scored the lone Thunder run. Three and 0, and fouled back to the screen. I was going to say, how appropriate would it be if she got on? Lake Region's had the leadoff hitter on in every inning, with the exception of the last inning. Wind still blowing straight out to right center. 3 balls and 1 strike to Jenkins. And somehow, that's a ball. So Jenkins reaches base again. Pretty good OPP. And this will bring up Camry Fail. And again, Bartow's up. Nothing, 2-0. Caitlin Oxley. And down to second base, and that one is backed up nicely, I might add, by Heather Leach on the overthrow. Or no, check that. The center fielder, Sarah Walsh, backs that up on the overthrow. But down to second, I don't know if I'd be stealing bags. You need base runners down 8. I don't think I'd be putting girls in. She might have stole that bag on her own. Coach is over here. You see him looking down in the dirt, kicking the dirt around a little bit. You need as many of those as you can get at this point. The 1-0 is 2-0. A day of rest tomorrow for Brevard Sports Network. We'll be back Thursday as Jackson and Caleb will have spring football for you from Holy Trinity. And Friday, someplace, we'll be doing the regional finals of 6A in softball. And if Eau Gallie wins, we sure could use a sponsor for Friday night if they're home or away. So if you're interested, message me. If they hang on to win here and you want to see this game Friday night, let me know. 9-1's the score, and that's ball 4, and nobody out, and runners at first and second. So here we go again with 2 on and none out. This is the third time this has happened in the game. And McKenna Meadows, the pitcher, to face Heather Rue. And that's 1-0. And Heather right now having a little trouble with the strike zone. So you got to calm down, take a deep breath, get it out. Just get that first one. As the Commodores have shown tonight, the rest will come. And there it could be. As nice job on the call and the haul. And that's how you do it. That's a good job for out number 1 as Walden brings it in, and she's had a great night at second base. Kendra Walden. So 1 out. And Kristen Aldridge at the plate. And Aldridge with a check swing for strike 1. And the coach is frustrated with her, and he's telling her, if you're going to swing, swing. She did that in her last at-bat and hit a little soft liner back to Rue and stranded 2 runners at the plate or on base. So he's not happy with her. Rue's 0-1 is upstairs, 1-1. Uberzati, we got it. Uberzati says, will sponsor, so taken care of. Tim, I'll be in touch. And that is fouled back and out of play. One ball, 2 strikes, and 1 out here The 1-2 on its way. Popped up. And that one lands about 15 feet from the Hyundai. Thank goodness. Tim, I'll reach out to you tomorrow. 1-2. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. 2-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 1 out. Got her that time. Strike 3. 2 outs. Nice pitch by Rue at the knees there. Down goes Aldridge. And Sophia Rivera will step in. Rivera grounded out to Rue tonight and flied out to the right fielder. You know, if Melbourne and George Jenkins don't play tonight, they would obviously have to. George Jenkins would have to come back tomorrow. Play. 1-1 to Rivera with 2 outs and 2 on. Can this be the 3rd time in the game that Eau Gallie strands 2 Lake Region runners on base? They have done a terrific job tonight doing that and just absolutely snatching momentum away from the Thunder. 9-1. 2 in the second, 6. And there's a soft liner and hauled in. That's the 3rd out by Leach. And they do indeed strand 2 more. We head to the top of the 6th. Eau Gallie inching closer. For these Commodores, this is a team that has really been in the making for 2-3 years. When you think about it, you know, you go back to a couple of years ago when, you know, Gabe's first year was last year, and any new coach is going to take over a team. It's going to be like drinking, water from a fire hose in your first year, and obviously the girls got to learn him, and they knew him from, I guess, travel ball and places. But what a job he and Paul Morris have done. And again, that end of the season slump with the bats and an inadvertent break for this team in that they didn't have those. They had 2 games canceled on them at the end of the year, which gave them a 2-week break for the start of the district tournament. And they utilized that time well to swing the sticks. And it has paid off. And that's a check swing. And she does not go. And that's high. So that should be ball 1. But you never know. This is Gabby Barrera, I believe, at the dish. 1-0 to Barrera. That's a pretty pitch there. 1-1. Barrera tonight, big hit back in the second, and a double back in the third to drive in a couple of runs. She has had her a night tonight. The 1-1 on its way is ball 2. Eau Gallie can get 2 here, make it 11-1, and hold them in the bottom of the 6th. They would win by the 10-run rule. Otherwise, they'll go 7. The 2-1 pitch. And Barrera continues to absolutely destroy the softball, as she is now 3 for 3 tonight with a leadoff single. 2 singles and a double tonight. Back to the top of the order with Shyla Eppert. And you know, Coach is going to push for these two. Actually, this is going to be Izzy Gamble stepping in to hit for Shyla. Ooh, nice job by the catcher to pull that up. Frame that 0-1. Fouled back. You know, Gallie went and played in that midseason tournament, the Kissimmee Classic, the upper division won by Melbourne, the slightly upper division won by Vieira. So Brevard County sends these softball teams over. They all did well over there. They really did. And they come home. Brevard County but the state of softball in Brevard County right now is really, really good. Young. You know, if Vieira can't come back tonight and Melbourne wins their regional semifinal game, that's going to set up a matchup that has national implications, and that is through. And everybody's hitting. And Gabe Carride holds Barrera at second or third, and down to second goes Gamble with a pinch hit double or single, and she'll take second on the throw. And run 10 and run 11 is at second and third for Sarah Walsh. And you just have to be impressed with the way they're swinging the bats. And there's a bunt. And coming home with the 10th run easily. That is a great delayed bunt. There's nobody at second base. Down to second base goes Sarah Walsh on the bunt. Barrera scores. It's 10-1. Holding at third is Gamble. And down to second goes Walsh. Everything the Commodores are doing is absolutely clicking. Absolutely clicking. 10. He's got it 9-2. It should be 10-1. Hey, Gabe, they don't have 2, do they? They don't have 2. No, he fixed it. Okay. No, he had the scoreboard at 2, and he just fixed it. Yeah. So 10-1 here. And Eau Gallie now with an opportunity to not only add the 11th run to make it a 10-run game, but the 12th is standing at second base. And I'll tell you what, Sarah Langley steps in, and all she did her last time up was hit one to Orange County. And she wanted another one. That one she wanted to send back. Thank you very much. I appreciate everything. Yeah. 10-1 is our score. Langley pops it up. She just missed. I mean, that's a tough play. And she drops it, and the 11th run's going to come home. And that's not an error. I'm not going to give her an error on that. That's a hit. That's a tough, tough play to turn around like that, to have to make that. And, boy, but I tell you, Langley just missed sending that one over the fence. got under it a bit. And it is now 11-1 Eau Gallie. And if you're looking for one of the more impressive performances, baseball or softball, here in these regional semifinals, well, you're just not going to find one better than what Eau Gallie's delivered here tonight. That'll be a strike. 2 in the second, 6 in the third, 1 in the fourth, and 2 here in the sixth. Runners at first and second, and still nobody out. No, I'm sorry. I don't know the Merritt Island score. My apologies. I know they're playing Hernando tonight in their regional final with a chance to go to the Final Four. Congratulations to the Vieira boys baseball team. And that's a strikeout. And that's one out as they are going to their second straight Final Four and their third Final Four in 4 years. That's a great job. The birthday girl steps in, Abby Tulip. 2 on, 1 out, 2 in, 11-1. I can't tell if he's saying ball or strike. I think that's a strike. Anyway, 0-1. There's the pitch. And that's 0-2 to the Tulip. I apologize, Miss Collins. I do not know. Back and out of play. Oh, and 2 now to the Tulip. And that'll be strike 3. Pitcher's walking off the mound for some reason. And she'll have to come back because that's just 2 outs. So center fielder's yelling at her, telling her, get in the game. That's well, I'm going to be honest with you. That was my thought. She wasn't the only one walking off. She had the whole left side of the infield, right side of the infield walking off with her. They all thought it was 3 outs. And I love what the center fielder said. We're going to get a pinch hitter, a pinch runner. As Coach Cartwright wants to get some of his players in. Emma Squibb will come in to run. And Laney White will. Laney White is hitting this one. So Laney White ran. She's going to hit now. 2 outs. 11-1. Swing, get a miss by White. Strike 1. Top of the 6th. If the Commodores can record 3 outs without giving up a run, they'll advance to the regional finals. Swing, and she's just throwing straight smoke now, but it might be too little, too late. And that's the third and final out. So Eau Gallie needs 3 outs. And they'll head back to Brevard County and prepare to play in the regional championship on Friday. We head to the bottom of the 6th. Eau Gallie 11. Lake Region 1. All right. Heather Rue has allowed one run. And listen, a lot of times, pitchers get a lot of the credit, and they should. But this defense behind her the last two games has been phenomenal. And against a very good hitting Rockledge team and against a good hitting team tonight in Lake Region, this Heather and this defense has allowed one run in the last two games. They beat Rockledge 14-0. Kaylin Reeder steps in, and all Heather Rue has to do is throw some strikes here and get 3 outs. And the Commodores are advancing, and the changeup tries to sneak one in there, and it just hasn't worked for her in the last two games. So we have to work on that in the next couple of days. And there's a high chopper to Leach, and Leach records out number 1. 2 to go. Nice play by Leach. And what can you say about the job that Hannah Leach has done tonight, filling in for the injured Deborah Turco? She has come in and done a marvelous job. One out. And strike one. And the student section chants, she's a freshman. And there's a shot. That's going to get up the middle for a base hit. And there'll be one on and one out here. And Savannah Ford will step in. And Savannah, it's a good piece of hitting there. They need just one to push it to the 7th. Eau Gallie needs 2 outs to end it without giving up that one. And if the Commodores can turn 2, that'll do it. Nice strike from Langley down to Barrera at first. The 1-0 is now 1-1. And Heather Rue had just reached back and came up with a little something extra right there and blew that one by. Savannah Ford for strike one. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here, bottom of the 6th. A 10-run lead for Eau Gallie. And that one is hit. Oh, my goodness. How about Kendra Walden continuing to shine? The line drive right into her glove. 2 outs. What a play. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. Second great defensive play of the night for Kendra. And down to their final out. That one's destined for the gap. And she got a vertical up there that wow. I wanted to show. I couldn't get up fast enough to get the camera turned. You saw how hard that ball was hit. And this ought to do it. And there it is. The Eau Gallie Commodores have advanced to the 4A2 region finals. They will have a chance to go to the Final Four coming up Friday night. They get a 6-inning, 11-1 win in what can only be described as a total team effort. Congratulations to Gabe Cartwright and Paul Morris and all of the Eau Gallie Commodores on a fabulous effort here tonight. And they will advance, and we'll keep you posted as to whom they will play. And I'll be in touch with Uberzadi tomorrow Say hello back home. You deserve
Let's
it.
go! EG did it for y'all! Y'all better pop out!
There you go. Nice job, ladies. Nice job. All right, we're going to end it right here and get on the road and head on back. So I want to thank our sponsor tonight, D1 Action Photo, Paul Gamble. The information has been on the bottom of the screen all night. And Gabe Conrad. Once again, your final score, the Eau Gallie Commodores advance to the regional finals coming up Friday night. We'll let you know where that's going to be. Eau Gallie 11, Lake Region 1. Have a great night, everybody.